More than 500 years ago, there emerged a prophecy of the eagle and the condor. This prophecy seems not to be unique to one geographic area. Rather, it seems to have emerged simultaneously among indigenous peoples throughout the Americas, and is found in tribal lore from the jungles of the Andes to the snows of Alaska. In the prophecy, the condor is said to represent the heart, intuition, feminine energy, while the eagle represents the head, commerce and technology, masculine energy. According to the prophecy, a period of 500 years, beginning around 1500 CE, would see the separation of the eagle and the condor, with the eagle flying north and the condor to the south. This would be a period where the head and heart of the people would be operating independently, bringing conflicts, wars, turmoil, and confusion. But, says the prophecy, after the 500 years, the eagle and condor would be reunited, flying the skies again together. These great energies would combine to bring balance to the world, ushering in a new period of great peace.
Our first stop in Cusco was at La Cuscuanita, a restaurant famous for folkloric music and dance.
From Cusco at 11,000 feet, we descended into the Sacred Valley, stopping at the famous Awana Concha Cultural Center for Weaving and Textiles. The Sacred Valley is one of the world's centers for alpaca and vicuña weaving, all done by hand in the traditional ways.
Dancing, or seeing things, no. It's also bringing that wisdom from the north, from the eagles, because the people here needs that. And the reason of us is to share with you the condor sight, which is the heart.
Yes, yes.
You understand?
Yes,
so that was
yes.
the purpose. So in the 21st century, we talk about the prophecy of the eagles and the condors flying together, in circles to bring opportunities, to bring balance, to bring love, whatever is needed in our communities. Okay, everybody support her like this, with your white light energy. Aho!
But the real highlight of the day came when we drove to Washi's hometown of Ollantaytambo to bring school supplies to the children of Path of the Heart. These supplies were donated by generous people in the Baltimore area, specifically for these kids.
Hay bastantes colores, lápices, de todo, lapiceros, para todos ahí, niños. ¿Quieren regalos o no? ¡Sí! Pero lo más importante, niños, es que estudien. ¿Van a estudiar o no? ¡Sí! Muy bien. Niños, a ver, denle un voto de aplauso acá a los señores.
It was such a joy to see the faces of the children and parents as we gave out the supplies. This area was hard hit by flooding in 2017, and many families lost everything. Washi, our guide, has been part of Path of the Heart since he was just 9 years old. It became his passion, and now Washi, his mother, and his family are a big part of the organization's daily operations in Peru.
Ahí
sé qué hacer con este amor. Ay, no sé qué hacer con este amor.
In your bun.
No, que no puedo resistir. Ay, no sé qué hacer con este amor. Ay, no sé qué hacer con este amor.
From Ollantaytambo, we caught the Inca Rail train for a 90-minute ride to Aguascalientes at the foot of Machu Picchu. From there, we traveled by bus on a narrow switchback road until we arrived at Machu Picchu itself.
$14 million people then knew the existence of this place because nobody shared that information with the Spaniards when they were here. Do you understand? So this place was kept secret and sacred by a specific group of people, you know, who will study, who will learn the most amazing techniques, you know, about spirituality, you know, to be real chiefs, you know, many other things. Do you understand? This place, it was a university for female. Because Machu Picchu has that energy. So for instance, last night, I showed you the Southern Cross, like a kite, remember?
Right, yeah.
What about if I take a cord from Machu Picchu mountain all the way to Putucusi, Happy Mountain, all the way to Huayna Picchu, Young Mountain, all the way to Vizcachani, and back to Machu Picchu Mountain. What do I have? I have a perfect kite. Same shape as those 4 stars. And where is Machu Picchu? Right in the center. Again, put your right hand in your heart and the left one in your belly button. And feel as much as possible. Because this place is sacred. It's going to be secret and sacred to the future. Where your children will find the peace, will find the energy, will find the right information. Look at this place. This is one of the sacred places in Machu Picchu that we call Temple of the Condor, okay? Let me point it out. Here we have the beak, the 2 little eyes, the white color of the condor, and a little space where they will add sacred beverages. Then you can see there is a table right here, but if this is the condor, where are the wings? The wings are those 2 huge buildings right here. Okay, of course, through the time has been destroyed because of the rain, you know, erosion, those kind of things, but this is the Temple of the Condor. This condor, ladies and gentlemen, are flying into the east, where the sun come out in June 21st.
Dance Alchemy's trip to Peru was full of magic moments like this, as Washi and his brothers started the impromptu condor dance, which quickly became a flash mob high atop one of the world's most sacred sites. It felt like the prophecy had shared with us was coming to life. Machu Picchu has that effect. You can really feel the mystical energy.
We left Machu Picchu with our hearts full of so many wonderful memories. And on the train home, we had what else? More dancing.
Past an eternal river, past an eternal river.
The next morning, we drove to the Inti Ayu Spiritual Center for a ceremony of healing for the sacred river. After a singing bowl ceremony, we all participated in creating a traditional despacho, a prayer bundle, to release into the river, signifying our intentions for healing of its waters. This we did from a bridge near the center, along with offerings of flowers from each of us.
And receive this offering from your children of the north. And help us in life. Woohoo!
Our next special stop was at the Women's Weaving Cooperative in Chinchero, where we were shown the traditional spinning, dyeing, and weaving processes behind the colorful garments and items we saw everywhere.
Very talented. She was also in one of the magazines in the New York Times, about weaving, because she has a lot of knowledge. Try to understand her English. She's going to share with you beautiful details about how they do the weaving in these communities.
Good afternoon. My name is Marlene. I am president in this community. The most important in this organization is preserving and the indigenous cultures, weaving textile and natural dyeing. Weaving demonstration. In the textile, I tell them the flora, fauna, mountains, cochas, lake, lagoons. My grandfather, he's the shaman in the coca leaves. He's working a special ceremonies for the Mother Earth, the Pachamama. What are you thinking? Which one? Which bone? What kind is the bone?
Tourist.
Yeah. Human tourist bone.
Yeah.
Because no buy anything in this cooperative. This is not tourist bone. It's alpaca bones. This is the femur. It's for the types and the weaving textile, but the textile much stronger, much resistant, no? The traditional weaving, all handmade work. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you for your visit, please.
Thank you.
The ladies come, the different.
The next phase of our trip would take us back to Cusco for a night at the Palacio del Inca, followed by a short midday flight back to Lima. The evening found us at the historic Brisas del Titicaca, which has one of the most famous and wildly entertaining folkloric dance shows and an open dance floor between the acts. This truly was traditional Peruvian dance at its finest, with some of the most amazing and elaborate costumes we've seen anywhere.
más alegre de la noche.
The following day, we loaded up and set out for the long ride south to Paracas. We drove along the Pacific coast, desert on one side, ocean on the other. Then we turned off and drove east into Chincha Alta, down narrow country roads past enormous cotton and avocado plantations, to one of El Carmen's hidden treasures, the one and only Mama Inez.
Mama Inez, sitting on the seat, yeah?
El Carmen is the epicenter of Afro-Peruvian culture. We had specifically requested to be shown and taught Afro-Peruvian dance, and the young ladies at Mama Inez did not disappoint.
We are going to present to you,
show Afro-Peruano,
and the show is called Afro-Peruvian.
que es netamente acá del distrito del Carmen.
And this is originated right here in this district called El Carmen.
Yo porque se trajo de la cultura afro-peruana.
And it's very meaningful because it came from Afro-Peruvian costume.
Y al final vamos a hacer un fin de fiesta donde todos van a participar.
At the end, we are going to finish the party when we are going to dance, all of you.
Tired and happy, we got back on the main road and drove the rest of the way to the Aranjuez Paracas Resort. Only when we rose the next morning could we see just exactly how beautiful this place was.
For lunch, Washi walked us down the beach to the village of Paracas, where we strolled and danced on the promenade, had a great lunch, and were surprised by our latest instructor, the one and only Chicango, and his young dancing assistant, Gloria, who arrived to teach us more Afro-Peruvian dance.
And he's going to prepare the most delicious food. Okay, he has the best fish. You know, I have the order, I have the list of what you ordered. So there is octopus, there is fish, there is a salad, potato, those kind of things. So Alex is going to be the one who is going to cook for you.
Y ahora, aquí vas a sacar al eso. ¡Cintura! ¡Abajo la mía! Peruana, con la sangre del alma pinto los colores. Al medio.
Full of lunch and all warmed up, we walked back to the resort with Chicango and Gloria for more dance instruction, followed by one of our own favorites, Wash Your Spirit, with music by Walela.
Eso. Abajo. Vení abajo. Esa meneguita. Arriba. Chicha.
We found Peru to be full of surprises. On the way back to Lima, we stopped again in El Carmen, this time to visit the historic Hacienda San Jose, a massive structure built originally by the Jesuits in the late 1600s. Long ago, this hacienda served as the epicenter for a widespread network of plantations employing thousands of people and slaves. Now it's an enormous hotel and restaurant. We came to see yet another fascinating show of Afro-Peruvian dance. If you look closely, you'll see one of the young ladies who danced with us at Mama Inés. After a bus tour through the village of El Carmen, we rode back along the Pacific, wending our way north back to the city of Lima.
The next day, Washi took us on a walking tour of Miraflores, where we were staying, including the Kennedy Park, also known as Cat Park, for its large population of feral cats. He explained to us the significance of all the little twin bull statues we saw atop houses.
Put also a cross, like a Catholic cross, with a beer, with a corn beer. So the spirits, which is the sun or other spirits, will drink, and also protect that family. You understand? And then for them to be successful.
Our walk brought us to the Miraflores Love Park, where we danced our signature vast and eternal river dance under the iconic Love Park sculpture El Beso, or The Kiss. That night, we went to our final folkloric dance show at the famous Damawana in Barranco, Lima.
When we finally boarded the bus for the long trek back to the airport, it was with hearts full to overflowing.
From the mountains of the Andes to the beaches of Paracas, from 11,000 feet to the Pacific shore, we danced together in a place that transcended language.
Day by day, it felt as though we were being woven into the very fabric of Peru, becoming a part of Pachamama's rich spiritual tapestry.
It truly felt like we were immersed in the energies of the eagle and the condor, circling around and through each of us as we traveled and danced.
This land has a long and sacred history, and now we have added our lives and danced to that story.
The word alchemy means transformation, and that's exactly what happened. Each in their own way, we were all changed by this magical trip.
Gracias.
There is a vast and eternal river, and it flows through all people. This is the river of spirit, and it flows